He got a slider. It was down and in. It didn't just hang up there belt high, but he jumped on it and smoked it.
Frank Paul here in the downtown studios. I'm not in the bunker tonight. It was too hot in there last night. I was sweating bullets. I don't know. There was no air to breathe. I hate the opener. I like the opener. 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 I don't know what... I'm lost. I mean, what a performance tonight by the pitching staff. And then 18 hits last night. Guess what? That's baseball. It's like one day, or not one day. I was in on the opener for a long time when last year I was scratching my head about it a lot. And then all of a sudden they're 15-5. And I'm thinking, yeah, that would be tough to hit off of 4 guys every night and not really get a rhythm off somebody or know what they were going to throw you based on the last at-bat. And that's what we used to do is base the second at-bat based on what happened the first at-bat and all the information we gathered in the first at-bat was like a recon mission. I'll gladly go 0 for 1 to go 1 for 2 with the bases loaded my second time and know everything the pitcher has. And then if you get a hit that time, then you come up your third time against them and you're like, now what, dude? And you just can't do that with the opener. So like last night was tough, and I was really wondered about this ball club last night. If you guys listen to the show afterwards. And then tonight they come out and the Sage worked and they score 7 runs on 9 hits. We had taters all over the place. It was a well-played baseball game. Gabe needs to get thrown out more. It's that simple. I don't know. That fired me up tonight watching. Chad Whitson's, I have this in my notes. Strike zone was horse. I can't say it tonight from Chad Whitson. And I felt for Meckler because here he is in his second game, and those balls weren't even near the box. They were balls, and you can't say anything as a rookie. You got to sit there and wear it. Even if you turn around, look at the umpire as a rookie in your second game. You can't say anything, but the body language could get you in trouble. That's just kind of how it goes. And then your manager, who rarely gets thrown out, and if you're Chad Whitson, you got to realize, whoa, Gabe Kapler's coming out. I think it has way more effect when you don't get thrown out all the time. Kind of contradicted myself, but he picked his spot. He was frustrated. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it sure fired me up. And I think when you listen to Wilmer talking to Dave and John after the game, he said kind of something similar. So Gabe got thrown out. It was the second time this year. He fired up the troops. And like I said, I have it in my notes. Meckler was getting screwed, and Gabe stood up for him. And that's basically what happened. And the other takeaway is where the city connects the rest of the year. I mean, that's not really in-depth. I'm probably getting paid for a little more deeper analysis of the game than that. But I don't know. Where the city connects the rest of the year. Just wear them. Wear them, don't wash them. Just like Little League World Series stuff. You're watching these kids, if they win a game in these regionals in the Little League, they don't wash their uniforms. Wear dirty City Connect uniforms tomorrow. Keep it rolling. Then pack them and take them on the road. Well, you can't wear them in Atlanta. You can't wear white on the road. You can't. But at home, maybe we get gray City Connect uniforms for when it's the marine layer and it's not the fog. And you have gray ones for the road. Or just all orange for the road. And call them Road Connects. Connect the dots. I don't know. Call them something. And then just change up the unis a little bit. So the Giants haven't won back-to-back games since July 29th and 30th. So tomorrow's huge for this ball club. Win, go on the road. You're going to play the 27 Yankees in Atlanta. My goodness, these guys keep winning. They won their 77th game tonight. They're a machine. They're on a roll, especially at home. I mean, the ball flies in that ballpark. And maybe you get locked in as a ball club on the road there. I know they have a good pitching staff, but it's a quick infield. The ball flies. It's a great place to hit the baseball. Jacob telling me they have good strip clubs, too. I wouldn't know, Jacob. I go back to my room every night. The Giants win 7-0. The last time Tampa was shut out was June 17th. There's your stat of the night. And when you talk about what happened tonight, it was just an amazing performance. You see this all the time, right? A team scores 100 runs on 100 hits, and the next day they get shut out because you got a lot of fat cats. They're full. They got the food coma, the hit coma going from the night before, but you can't take anything away. I kind of just did. From Jacob Junis, Sean Manaea, Tyler Rogers, who hasn't pitched in like 4 years, and then Jackson comes in and does a nice job at the end. So I'm just digging everything Sean Manaea is doing right now. He just looks like he's free and easy. He's super confident. He's going out there and just shoving, dealing. He gives 0 Fs about what role he's used in, whether it's starter, feature, Premier League pitcher, beer league pitcher, closer. He doesn't care. He just goes out there and throws it as hard as he can. He looks relaxed. He looks like he's having fun. Somewhere along the line, he embraced all this and quit fighting it. And I think there's a lot to be said for a guy that can do that. Just, why fight it? Why am I going to waste energy fighting the fact that I'm not starting? Why am I going to waste energy fighting that something I can't control? There's so many things in baseball you can't control. That's why it's a frustrating sport. You can't control the ball once it leaves your hand as a pitcher. Whatever happens after that happens. You can't control the ball once it leaves your bat as a hitter. Whatever happens, happens. And I bet you if you talk to Sean Manaea, and I don't want to sit here and get in his head for him because I don't know this. I'm just basing on body language, his demeanor around the ballpark. He's always smiling. He seems happy. That there had to be somewhere along the line where he said, like, what good is it going to do if I sit here and bitch about it? What good is it going to do if I sit here and say, well, I'm a closer one day, I'm a starter the next day? Then you're just wasting energy. You're probably not being a good teammate if you're vocalizing that in the back of the plane, the back of the bus, or the back of the clubhouse. And he just goes out there and takes the ball whenever, however, and lets it rip. And that's all you could do. So good for him. Tyler Rogers looked great tonight. Sean Manaea with 5 strikeouts. Jacob Junis was nails. He 4 shutouts tonight, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. And then the offense was the offense. And there was balls flying all over the place. There was loud noises all over the place. Michael Conforto with 3 hits. He's up to 251. Patrick Bailey with another knock and another RBI. Ramos with a knock. And then Tyro Estrada with the big blow, the home run. So Tyro's been hitting the ball real good. He looks good. So 808 KNBR, if you want to chime in. I know there was a lot of frustrated Giants fans last night. If you listened to the show last night, I said, okay, call, vent. That's what we do here. So get this. 120 games down, 42 to go. It's getting late. 42 games are going to go by in a blink of an eye. So here's our game plan the rest of the year. You guys can tell me to go F off. I don't care. Enjoy these 42 games. In 42 games, we're going to wish we had baseball. This team looks like it's heading for the playoffs. Nothing's guaranteed. A lot can happen in 42 games, but that's not a lot of time. So they've played 120. They got 42 left. We could sit here and bitch and moan about everything and Gabe this and Farhan that and closer this and opener that and pinch hitter this, pinch hitter that. We can do that. That's fine. And you're fans and you're entitled to have your feelings and say whatever you want. That's what you guys do. And I get it. Like I always say, I was a fan a lot longer than I was a player. So I understand the sentiment, but like I'm going to be bummed in 42 games. Yeah, you're probably going to get a playoff, and that's going to be awesome. There's nothing like it. I get nervous. I don't sleep still to this day when the team I'm rooting for gets in the playoffs. It's tough, man. It's like buckle up, man. When you can't control it and you're sitting there watching it, I still get huge pterodactyls in my stomach when the team that I'm working for or rooting for is in the playoffs. So 42 games left. Enjoy the ride. Embrace the good. Embrace the bad. It sounds like the facts of life. Take the good and take the bad and something. There you have the facts of life. I don't know. Let's go to Jacob. You all right with the call right here? Let's go to Sam in the city. Sam, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Hey, my man. FP, how you doing, man?
Hey, Sam. Good to hear your voice. How you doing tonight?
Hey, you know what? Tonight, I'm feeling I vibed it out tonight, and maybe it could have been from Andrea's call last night because she felt like this team, like Gabe. I felt like something had to happen. Something was going to happen. There's 40 games left. You gotta go. Give me 20 out of 40. I'll take 20 out of 40. Okay, that'll get you to the playoffs. I mean, I'm gonna go back 2006. St. Louis Cardinals win 82 games and 83 games. My mistake. 83 and 79. They got to get it right to know my facts on live, one of the greatest shows at night.
Not one of the greatest, Sam. The greatest. This is the greatest show ever.
The greatest dang.
The greatest night show at 9:55 with callers on Broadway. And Battery.
And more so callers that bring it. I mean, you have no weak callers at all.
We do. We have everyone brings their fastball every night. So you're talking about the Cardinals, Sam, and they got hot late and they ran the table.
And that happens. But I mean, last night, and I'm going to get to the rubber match tomorrow. I look at it like, do I want to go? Should I go? And I've been seeing a lot of social media stuff They're going, as you said prior to the segment, they want to go after Cap's head, fire, man, endless FPs. Like you probably see it, and it's toxic to look at because, I think Gabe he's doing a good job. But for him to get back to an extension for next season and seasons to come, they got to get in the playoffs. Because I feel if this team doesn't get in the playoffs on Crawdaddy's last season of baseball and these youngsters want a taste of it, I think if they don't get in the playoffs, it's going to be an awfully disappointing season. FP, you've been great. You're always great, man. You bring it every night. I really appreciate you giving me the time.
Sam, you're the best, man. I always appreciate your calls. Lots of passion, very intelligent. You are the man. Thanks for calling. So when Sam was calling, it hit me like when I said Gabe needs to get thrown out. Anybody can get on the air and say that. What does that mean? What does that mean to a player when a manager gets thrown out like that? Well, if a manager gets thrown out every day, you just kind of eye roll and say, here he goes again. But a lot of times, and this is going to be harsh, and I get paid for my opinion. A lot of times Gabe is chat GPT Gabe, where it seems like the answers are formulated, and it's like you're talking to a robot. Like, that's just what he gives the media. And I think that's why fans sometimes are frustrated with it. You get to know him behind the scenes. He's a good dude, man. I talk to him all the time. I sit in his office all the time, and I talk to him pretty much every day. And he's a really good dude. But I don't think the fans see that side of him because they see chat GPT Gabe, where everything's really calculated what he says. So now all of a sudden you see him come out and lose his mind tonight and protect a younger player. And from a player standpoint, does that really fire me up? Not the fact that he got thrown out. What fires me up is he stood up for a kid that's 23 years old in the second big league game that has no recourse to argue balls and strikes. And when Chad Whitson was just like ringing him up, and I thought Bill Miller called a couple tough ones on him last night too, that like they see sometimes these veteran umpires see a kid and they're just like, well, here's my chance to speed the game up. Here's my chance to speed the game up. Here's my chance to speed the game up. Meaning he can't argue. His hands are tied, basically. And to see Gabe come out and stand up for a kid that couldn't argue, that fires me up. So I'm not in the dugout going, yeah, Gabe's mad. Now I'm mad. Now we're going to win. It doesn't work like that. It's like, oh, he never goes out there. And he's standing up for the kid. And if I'm a veteran, that fires me up. Not that I need to be fired up because you're all professionals, but every once in a while you get into a malaise. You get into you're staring at the game, so to speak, for lack of a better analogy. And the Giants have been staring at the game for a while right now. And I don't know if that was a factor, but Wilmer said it is. And Wilmer's the most professional baseball player I've seen in a long, long time, the way he approaches the game every day, what he says, what he does, how he acts, how he plays the game. He's a baseball player. And if he said that fired him up, yeah, it fired me up. And not that Gabe needs to stand up for his guys more because I think it speaks volumes when you pick your spots. But I think I guess the point when I say chat GPT, Gabe, it's just like fans want to see passion. Fans want to see emotion. Fans want to see human. They want to see somebody go out there and just like lose their mind every once in a while. Like, yeah, that guy really cares. He cares. Trust me, he cares. He really cares. But like, we want to see that. Fans want to see that. And then when you see that like that, it makes like, because we all get pissed, right? We were pissed. I was pissed about the Meckler calls. Little guy getting it shoved up as you know what. I'm like, hey, leave this kid alone. What'd he do to you? And they missed 3 pitches the first at bat. Gave out there 3. He kept saying 3. You missed 3 last time. You just missed that one. Like, what'd this kid ever do to you? Picking on the little guy, the Mecklinator. Don't pick on the Mecklinator. He's going to rake, by the way. He got a good swing. And he can fly. I didn't know that. I'm going to take a quick break. I see you guys all on hold right now. We're at the top of the hour. So everybody on hold, stay right there. I'm going to get to the text messages. Lots of them. Giants win 7-0 tonight. Get 7 runs. On 9 hits, but I think the big story is they shut out one of the best teams in baseball, and the last time Tampa was shut out was June 17th. So a big win for the Giants. They got to get a big win tomorrow. Getaway day with a day off in Atlanta. That plane will be rocking tomorrow. I'll be in the back watching. That plane will be rocking, but I got double barrels, bottles of wine ready. I'm ready. I got a bottle of Scribe and a bottle of Marine Layer ready for the flight tomorrow. Because then, and then Thursday they have the day off, and you could just enjoy Atlanta. I don't know. They have some good restaurants. There's some really good restaurants. And like Guy Fieri's always got the diners, drive-ins, and dives there. So All right, stay right there on hold. Stay right there on the text line. I'll get your calls next on the Sports Leader.
Play KNBR at your pad on your Apple HomePod. KNBR Tonight with former Giant F.P. Santangelo. Now continues on KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
Wade Meckler looking for his first big league hit, second game, and he takes a pitch called a strike. Wade, I think he believes that every pitch he's taken has been a ball, and now, did somebody just get kicked out? Might be Gabe Kapler. Chad Whitson, I think he just kicked him out. And Gabe's coming out now. He's very unhappy. I think he feels like, and Gabe's holding up three fingers, and I think that's exactly what Gabe's saying. Three pitches that haven't been strikes. And I am sure that Gabe's right in Chad Whitson's face. And he's telling him, you know I'm right. And I guarantee you that the Giants looked at the iPad and saw that those two calls were not correct ones. Giants fans are happy with Gabe showing some feistiness. But he just got kicked out of the game. That doesn't happen very often.
Dude, it's hitting me like a ton of bricks right now. That you should play a music bed behind the broadcast. If you played Green Day behind the broadcast like that, every game would be even more exciting. Like John and Dave are the best in the business, so are Dwayne and Mike. But if you played Green Day behind the game like that, why not? I mean, I'm doing the games in Atlanta this weekend. It would help me cover up some of my mistakes. Just play it really loud. So, I mean, here's a little story for you before we get to the phones. Felipe Alou, I forget, it was 1997. So gather around the campfire, kids. It's story time with FP. It was the first game out of the All-Star break, and we weren't playing well. It was the Expos. We were at Shea Stadium. And generally, you don't have many meetings in the big leagues because if you have a bunch of meetings, it's high-roll city. We're professionals. Come on. And when Felipe had a meeting, you could hear a pin drop. Like whatever he said, you could hear a pin drop in the clubhouse. He commanded that sort of respect. He had that presence about him. And he was so intelligent, one of the most intelligent human beings I've ever been around. So he gathered the team together. It was about like, let's just throw, I don't know the exact time, but let's, for story purposes, say 6 o'clock for a 7:15 game at Shea Stadium. Did I say Citi Field? I meant Shea Stadium. If I said Citi Field, I meant Shea Stadium. It was against the Mets. We were opening up second half of the season. And the moral of the story was that we weren't very entertaining. Our team wasn't very entertaining. And he looked around the room and he said, this is the entertainment industry we're in. We're in the entertainment business. People are paying to watch us play, and we're not giving them their money's worth. We're all entertainers. And we sat there and we looked around. I've never heard it put that way. Could have heard a pin drop. And you know what? He's right. We suck right now. We're not playing with passion. We're not getting dirty. We're not running around in defenses and breaking up double plays. We're not very entertaining. We never had the big names in Montreal. We never had superstar power. Pedro was probably the biggest superstar I ever played with in Montreal. And there was a lot of good players that went other places and made a lot of money, but we never had that star power. We never had that A-list celebrity on our team that when we got off the bus, there was, TMZ and photographers everywhere. We never had that. Played in front of like 12,000 people every night, 10,000 people. And then it hit us like a ton of bricks. Like, he's right. We are in the entertainment business. So I led that game off with a home run, and I was singing "That's Entertainment" on the bench, giving everybody a high five and "Are you entertained?" And but the bottom line of that story is what Gabe did tonight was entertaining. Like, that was cool to see your manager go out there and show emotion and stand up for his players. That was cool to see that he was as frustrated as we are as fans right now based on how things were going, and that he was frustrated by his new call-up, a guy that's got tremendous strike zone skills, a guy that commands the strike zone, a guy that has tremendous bat-to-ball skills, a guy that walks a lot, that doesn't swing at balls, that's worked his whole life on discipline. Maybe the AAA strike zone is different from the big league strike zone. Maybe it is a tuna can strike zone in AAA right now. I don't know. When you talk to people that come up, they tell you that. So maybe all of a sudden for Meckler, the strike zone looks like you throw it in the ocean, it's a strike. But he's taking pitches that are balls that are getting called strikes, and then he can't do anything about it. So his manager sticks up for him, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah. And I think as fans, did you not like that tonight? Were you not entertained by Gabe Kapler getting thrown out of the game? And I don't know if it was calculated, like, I'm going here. I'll ask him tomorrow when I see him. Like I said, his responses to the media, he says a lot, but he doesn't give you a lot, and that's okay. Belichick does the same thing. He's super articulate. He's super intelligent. Everything he says is well thought out. That's why I said chat GPT, Gabe. But if you know Gabe behind the scenes, he's a good dude. He's fun to be around. He laughs. He jokes. He's a good guy. He's fun to be around. You guys don't see that part. I'm really lucky that I get to see that side of him. And then to see the emotion part of it, we rarely see that from him because he's so stoic. Like, he's the most stoic dude in the world during the game. Very rarely does the camera catch Gabe with a facial expression. Anything is other than he's like locked in. He's focused. It's never like throw your hat, roll your eyes, throw your arms in the air. Every once in a while. And he probably wants his players to reflect the same thing. No high highs, no low lows, no roller coaster all-stars. But that was fun tonight. I don't know if that's why they won, but I do know that if I was in that dugout, the fact that he stood up for one of the dudes like that had no recourse was super cool. Let's go to Peter in Victoria. Peter, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Not too much. Missed out most of the match today because I was up on a roof. But, yeah, that happens, eh?
Oh, Peter, you called last night, man. You're the best caller we've had in a long time. Peter's from Victoria, Australia, right? And I kept calling him. What did I call you last night? Alex?
Alex.
Yeah, because another guy calls the show from Australia as Alex. And then, Raph was probably stoned when he took your call last night, so he just thought you were from Australia. I'm kidding. Raph's one of the best producers at the station. He's a good dude. So he put Alex on the line. So I called Peter Alex a bunch last night. But Peter stays up, what's it, 4:30 in the morning there? 4:30 in the afternoon in Australia right now?
3:11.
3:11. All right. Well, what do you got for us tonight, Peter?
Oh, not much. It was a one-sided game when I got back off the roof. We put up a 30-foot or 9-metre antenna today for Get Melbourne FM for a mate. So I missed out on a bit of the game. I got back off the roof and it was, 6-0. Wow, what a thrashing.
It was 7-0 was the final, and it was a thrashing. It was a complete and utter thrashing of one of the best teams in baseball. So how do you get the games, Peter? Do you stream them on KNBR.com or MLB.com? Like, how do you listen to Giants baseball in Australia?
I cheat the thing, and I use a VPN, and I go straight on the KNBR. TV is too expensive to pay for satellite TV. So, yeah, and MLB baseball can be a bit costly too so, straight off the lappy.
Okay.
Off the laptop.
Well, good. I love that we have fans all over the world. Giants fans are everywhere, man. I mean, everywhere.
Yeah, sort of baseball confuses me like cricket does to you. But I usually use KNBR to see what's going on with the 49ers because I've been around them since about 82.
Peter, do coaches in like Australian rules football or cricket, do the coaches ever get mad at the officials and get thrown out? Do they ever lose their mind and get thrown out of a game?
Well, you used to, but it's gone so PC this century. It's so men wear skirts sort of era. But, the coaches, they can. I mean, not Aussie rules, they don't get thrown out, but they can get fined. They can get fined a substantial amount. We do sometimes. It depends. I've never seen a coach get suspended yet for telling an umpire who's a goose. Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, thanks for staying up tonight. Thanks for calling the show. I appreciate it. I love your accent. Last night you got us to the finish line. You called it about, I don't know, our time, 11:30, and we talked almost till midnight, you and I. It was like having a guest on. I can't thank you enough because I was running out of steam last night.
Yeah, you need to fire up. Oh, that's why you don't have a kettle over there to boil. Use. I don't know how you make coffee, but you've got to use a kettle to boil and keep it going.
I will. I'll use a kettle to boil and keep it going. Thanks, Peter. I'll talk to you tomorrow, man. Appreciate it.
You have a good time over there in Calais. Catch up.
Cheers, Peter. Thanks. Let's go to Betty in Benicia. Betty, you're on KNBR.
Hi. Hats off to Peter, by the way. He's great. Anyway, what a game. Not because we won. That was great. That was wonderful. They played. They were so excited. They were just pounding that bat and doing good and getting into it and their expressions and everything. They were playing ball. They were great.
Why do you think that was tonight, Betty? Why do you think the Giants scored 7 runs and shut out one of the best offenses in baseball?
I just think this is who they are. This is who they are. When they play baseball, they play baseball, and that's why it gets frustrating sometimes when they were doing what they were doing. But when they do this, I mean, this is what they're capable of doing. This is the Giants. This is how I see them.
Well, yeah, let's go, Betty. Well, thanks for the call, Betty. I appreciate you staying up late. I appreciate you calling the show. And go Giants. They won 7-0. Big game tomorrow. This is no exaggeration. Maybe the biggest game of the year. And the reason? I don't know. You get away day into a day off playing the best team in baseball. You have momentum all of a sudden. And like I said the other night, the Patrick Bailey walk-off home run wasn't a momentum changer. That was just a snatch and a win with trips right, Hail Mary, throw it up for grabs. You tip it around the end zone, you score a touchdown the last play when you got outplayed the whole game. That would have been a momentum changer in my mind if Logan Webb finishes. But he didn't, and that was Gabe's decision, and you had the best closer in baseball, so you saw it his way, even if you thought Logan Webb should have closed out that game, and you saw it his way. So we're going to take a quick break. 808 KNBR is the number. We're talking some Giants baseball. We'll switch gears, maybe bottom of the hour, talk some 49ers. A lot to talk about with Trey Lance. Ooh, we got tons of news to talk about with that. But let's stick to the Giants right now. I see the phone lines lighting up. Stay right there on hold. Quick commercial break. We'll be right back. Your call's next on the Sports Leader.
Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo continues live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
He swings and he hits a high drive deep down the left field line. Headed for Berkeley. Adios! Pelota! On the first pitch against the Rays right-hander, who was brought in expressly to get Wilmer out, he plants one in the bleachers in left field, and it is 3-0 Giants.
The roof, and it was, 6-0. Wow, what a thrashing.
They played. They were so excited. They were just pounding that bat.
FP, you've been great. You're always great, man. You bring it every night. I really appreciate you giving me the time.
They played. They were so excited. They were just pounding that bat.
You guys better keep pounding that bat. That's all I know. What if John said, that ball's heading to Berkeley. It's smoking a joint, and it's got hairy armpits. It's got Birkenstocks on, and it's smoking a doobie, and it's heading to Berkeley. That ball's heading for a protest somewhere in Berkeley. I went to Cal for a year and a half. There was professional protesters back in the 80s. Are they still there? Is there professional protesters? They had them every day. It's like they would open up. Remember the newspaper when you had newspapers? They would open up the newspaper, and they would say, let's protest that. And then I would walk to class every day and like, you guys were protesting something else yesterday. It's like you're just looking for something to protest. It was a fun school to go to. The Greek life was great. The football games, we knew we were going to lose, but we just got hammered every Saturday. Stumbled into the stadium, stumbled back to a frat. I forget what frat, the baseball players, we had one frat that they were like, I think it was Sigma something. They were on double secret probation and they had a keg in the basement. So we had to like sneak down like 3 basements to have a keg that was like in a secret door because they were dry, because they were in trouble. And yeah, the crazy baseball players were in a frat. That was fun. All right, enough about me. What do you guys think about me? Leslie at Mill Valley, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Hi, SP. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Oh, pour Leslie a beer. Get her a beer, dude. She's first-time caller, gets a beer on the show. Way to go, Leslie. Thanks for calling.
It's time. Absolutely. I'm on my way home. Great game. I had great seats, second row. Oh, thank you.
That's for you. That's the courtesy of KNBR Tonight, Leslie. So you had great seats.
Beautiful. Great seats. We were on the first base side. And I'll tell you, watching Meckler run up the baseline and run out that infield hit, it was awesome. It was absolutely beautiful to see. And, and seeing Gabe fight for him, it was great. Everyone was just like, go, 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 go. And it did. It fired everybody up. And I think the team was like, when they get beat like they got beat last night, they are ready to fight the next time out. And you could feel it. You could see it. They were like, we are not going to let it happen again.
Yeah, there's a lot of professional pride there, and you could see it tonight. But yeah. I mean, it was entertaining, right? That was my point. Yeah. I don't know if you were listening earlier, but it's the entertainment industry. It's the entertainment business. Well, why do we watch Real Housewives of Orange County? For when they drink wine and fight. Like it's all about the drama. Right. We like stuff like that. Yes. That's why it gets the high ratings. And when you see your manager go out, and I'm not telling him to do it every game, but when it was for a great reason, like it was tonight for a kid that can't defend himself, that's good stuff, man. That's entertaining. Scoring 7 runs is entertaining. Hitting home runs is entertaining. Watching a bullpen game that we're all over the place with as fans, like one day we love it, one day we hate it, one day it's going to work, one day what are we doing? To see a 3-hit shutout against one of the best offenses in baseball, that was a baseball game tonight. That was Giants baseball game. That was good stuff.
Incredibly, absolutely. And I agree with you. I wish there were more players like Jock Peterson. I mean, he is so entertaining to just every time he comes up at bat. I don't care what he does. He's just so great to watch.
He seems like he's having fun playing that slide at home tonight. He was pointing at the catcher and laughing, and then he got back to the dugout and he was saying, "You got it right the first time."
Right.
Yeah. Right, so it was cool. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. Were you going to Mill Valley? Are you almost home?
Yep, almost home. Yep.
All right.
Back to quiet. Mill Valley.
That was a good call, Leslie, for your first time. It was a good call for any time. Keep calling the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Will do. Appreciate it, FP. You're
All right.
great.
Thanks, Leslie, from Mill Valley. Good
Take
stuff.
care.
By the way, like in the bunker last night, even though it was like steaming hot and I was sweating bullets, everybody that came by, every fan last night, you guys were all so nice. Somebody gave me a piece of Tony's pizza while I was sitting in the bunker. Fans were coming by left and right, complimenting the show, complimenting KNBR, complimenting when I'm on the broadcast. I mean, it was just Giants fans. I was like, they were so... I'm trying to think of the word. They forgot the loss quickly last night. Maybe they were, I think there was kids, and it was just it was a party in the bunker with fans last night before I came on the air. And I forgot to thank them last night because I was concentrating on what I was going to say. But every one of you guys that stopped by the bunker last night, and there was a ton of you, I felt like it was Halloween and I was like giving out candy. It was so cool last night. And the reason I'm in the studio tonight is I was just sweating bullets, man. I don't know what happened, or maybe it's just because of the hot weather. I don't know, but the bunker has never been that hot. Like, I couldn't even... I had the door open, and there was ambient noise of garbage cans rolling by all night, and I didn't even care. So I figured it'd be better to come back to the studio tonight. Benson in Sacramento, you're on KNBR. What's going on, Benson?
Hey, FP, it's been a minute. It's Rob Benson. We were actually at Cal at the same time in 85.
Were you in that basketball movie? Are you the actor Robbie Benson? Wasn't there an actor in the 80s, Robbie Benson?
Ouch. Actually, yeah, I was Robbie back in the late 70s, and that's why I went to Rob.
Robbie Benson, he's an American actor. He was in like a basketball movie. Hold on. What was the name of the...
It was 101.
Yes.
101.
Good knowledge, other Rob Benson. What do you got? So we went to Cal together?
We were at Cal together. Actually, I was at El Camino High School, and you were at Oak Ridge.
All right. What's going on, dude? How are you?
Way back in the day. Good. Hey, I'm an old school baseball guy like you are, and what I find amazing is at just about every level of sports, it turns into all that matters is the win. Just get the wins. But when it comes down to this the opener and all the great stats that are going on with the opener, we all get frustrated, but the wins keep coming. So I think it's kind of a strange phenomenon. I'm right with you. I hate the opener, love the opener.
Yeah, did you hear me all over the place? I love the opener, I hate the opener, I love the opener, I hate the opener. It's just I go back and forth because I think, what I think it is? Change. Nobody likes change, and whenever there's something new and something you're not used to, it takes time to wrap your arms around it. And when I finally, Benson, or it's Rob, right? Or what?
It's Rob, yeah.
Rob, it says Benson here. Rob, when I finally wrap my arms around it, they give up like 100 runs on 27 hits. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. It's all it takes is one guy to have a bad day and it doesn't work. So everybody has got to go out there and walk the tightrope, especially when your offense isn't hitting. And then tonight they shove. 3 hits shutout with everybody doing their thing.
They did. And I think, in the end, you either buy into the analytics or you don't. And I think it's really hard for us, quote-unquote, old-school guys to buy into the analytics. But if the W's keep coming and they make the playoffs, that's what's important.
Yeah, but then you see like Bochy's team in first place, and they have a nice mix. Boch was talking about how they get all the information they can take, but then they filter it how they want to filter it. And then you talk about Brian Snitker, who the Giants are going to play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The Atlanta Braves, they're 77-42, and They're pretty old school. It's about posting. They have like 4 guys in their lineup that have started all 118 games for them this year, however many they played. I'm doing the math. 119 games for them. And they run their guys out there. I don't know what that's going to look like in 5 years if they're all dinged up and they're limping around everywhere. But right now, that formula is working for them. So you look at a lot of – if you don't use analytics, Rob, you're going to get left in the dust right now. If you just say, screw it, we're just going to play old school baseball, you have no chance to compete. But what I think is the best, and I know the Giants do this and some other teams do this, is the mix. And maybe the Giants are a little heavier on the analytics side than most teams. I don't know, maybe it's 70-30, where maybe the Braves are 50-50, and maybe even Bochy's 60-40 on experience versus analytics. But you have to implement it somehow, some way, or teams are just going to beat you.
I totally agree. And I think what's also interesting is if you look at some of the prospects some of these teams had to give up to get that third or fourth starter, you have to question whether or not it was worth it. So, a lot of these fans that are screaming about, we should have got, whether it was Verlander or Giolito or, Flaherty, if we would have given up Harrison or Bailey, then they'd be yelling and screaming about that. So it's a fine line.
Sometimes the best moves you make are the ones you don't make. I don't know. It is a fine line, and it was a seller's market, and I always liken it to real estate. Like if I'm bidding $1 million on a house and that's full price, and 4 people go above full price, and there's a bidding war. I can't afford that house, or if I do get that house, then I got nothing left I have no car to drive. I'm house poor. I can't go on vacations, and I think when you talk about your prospects during the trade deadline, I don't think they wanted to give them up for players that weren't like players. You know, I'm not giving up Matos or Bailey or Harrison for anybody but like studs like Ohtani or something like that. And then I'd still have to think about it because he's not controllable.
Agreed. I mean, if you want to go way back, we gave up Zach Wheeler for Carlos Beltran. And right now that's not looking too good.
Yeah, I'd take Zach Wheeler right now in a heartbeat. All right, Rob, hey, thanks for catching up, man. Thanks for calling the show. I appreciate it.
You got it.
All right, dude, that's Rob Benson. He was in One-on-One, Wait Until Dark. One-on-One was, do you remember that show, One-on-One? It was a movie, American sports drama film starring Robbie Benson and Annette O'Toole. It was written by Benson and his father, Jerry Siegel. It was a basketball movie. And I remember back in the day in 70s, I'm dating myself. Oh, whatever. I'm not going to go down that road. It just makes me sound even older than I really am. It was a good movie. I don't know. I was into basketball back then. Now I'm just baseball and football. I like basketball too. I like the Warriors. Let's go to Andrea. Andrea turned it all around last night. She's a witch, I think, right? Andrea, you're a witch, and you cast a spell on the Giants last night, right?
Well, let's say we'll keep the mojo going, keep the sage burning, FP, keep wearing City Connect unis. I mean, that was just an awesome game, really exciting. And, to see Wade Meckler get his first 2 hits of his major league career. And I just looked up his birth date, April 21, 2000.
Oh, my God, 2000, yeah. Seriously?
Right. They're getting younger and younger.
Jeez Louise.
And he's got 4 planets in Taurus, which is very determined. And he's having what's known as a Jupiter return in Taurus, which happens once every 12 years. And that's a cycle of new opportunities, abundance. Timing is everything, the right place, the right time. So just a lot of blessings. He worked really hard for it. So it's just really nice to see him being rewarded and his mom, being in the stands and then not. I mean, it was just exciting to see that whole persistent energy that he has and that determination and that Jupiter return, again, once every 12 years. We have it at 12, 24, 36, and so on. So it's really a very positive transit of opportunity and abundance and promotion, certainly. Just moving up in the workplace, which would translate into his career and the opportunity for more responsibility and being on the team. So it's really a very nice transit that he's having. And for those born in 2000, they're having their Jupiter return at the age 24. So this is really, just a very deserving transit, very positive. So he's got a lot on his plate, but it really is a very excellent time to have opportunity and abundance happen for him.
Andrew, is there any chance he's a leprechaun?
I don't think so. Taurus is a little more conservative than leprechauns, but I do like leprechauns, like the Lucky Charms leprechauns.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
That was a good FP.
Thanks, Andrew. No, I mean he's. I love little guys that play hard, and I talked to him. Right. I talked to him on the bench yesterday before, and it's just like when you're swimming uphill your whole life or against the current, you finally get here, you got to relax and enjoy the ride, man. You're playing with house money. It's like you're at a casino and you're up like $500. It's their money. You start betting a little more looser, and you keep winning. So. He's serious playing with house money. I'm telling you, he got his first hit tonight. Now he's going to relax. Watch this kid go. He's going to have a big road trip. Big road trip. Both of these ballparks, Atlanta and Philadelphia, are conducive to hitting. It's warm in the summertime. I checked the weather. There's no rain in the forecast. Knock on wood. It's going to be like mid-90s, low to mid-90s in Atlanta, all 3 games. And then they go to Philadelphia, same type of weather. You get August in these ballparks. This is where these guys turn it all around. I'm telling you, whatever happens tomorrow, hopefully they can keep raking. But mark my words, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I don't know if they're going to win, but they're going to hit on this road trip. This whole thing's going to end based on the ballparks, based on the weather. I don't care who's pitching. You just touch a baseball in these yards, and it's going to go. That's why Olsen has, what does he have, 43, 44 home runs, whatever he has. Just get it in the air in these ballparks in the summertime when it's hot. You're going to see home runs. You're going to see a lot of hits. You're going to see a lot of runs. And if they don't score runs on this trip, you can officially panic. All right, Andrea, thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it.
Take care.
Take care. Andrea always calls the show. She's a good witch. There's good witches. There's bad witches. She's like Glenda, the good witch. She comes riding in on in a big pink dress on one of those like big bubbles, and then she lands, and then she sees the bad witch under her house. And the bad witch under the house right now is a Dodgers. It's a Dodgers. That's the bad witch under the house. Oh, that was so lame. All right, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. I want to jump into some Niner stuff, but 808 KNBR, keep calling the show. You guys are getting me the finish line tonight. I appreciate it. Great calls. We're going to talk a little Trey Lance and San Francisco 49ers next on the Sports Leader.
Enjoy KNBR in FM at 104.5 FM. Now back to KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo on the Sports Leader.
3rd and 8, minute 40 remaining in the first quarter. Raiders up 7-0. Lance out of the gun, 3 wide receivers to the right. Dropping back to pass. Stepping up in the pocket, harassed, flag down, and then Lance is sacked again, this time at the 12-yard line.
It could be. Yeah, I've had guys who've had reps in a lot of games that come out and are hesitant at times too. I mean, that's also the hard thing about preseason. You know, you don't get to play a whole game to work through those things. And there's a number of times last year that any quarterback we played with comes down there a little hesitant early. And I think he had a couple of those and a couple bad sacks, and our offense didn't get going and, kind of builds up. And I was glad that he was able to fight through that and make some plays there at the end. And I wish he could have stayed out longer, but we stuck with our plan and made sure not to panic and make any bad decisions for him.
I'm starting to wonder, man, about 49er Twitter and all the takes I'm hearing about the quarterback situation with the Niners. Like, I'm wondering if we're seeing things how we're supposed to see things right now. Because if anybody's out there doubting what Brock Purdy did last year and doubting how he did it, the fashion he did it, and how excited we were about it last year, if you forgot that and you're thinking for a minute that this guy isn't going to be the same guy, that 8 games is a small sample size, that he went to Seattle to win a division on the road with a broken rib, that if he was healthy, they would have been in the Super Bowl. I don't know if they would have beat the Chiefs. And if anybody's thinking out there, if anybody's thinking out there that there's a competition for the number 2 spot with Trey Lance, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts, and you don't know anything about football. Because he hasn't played. So if he starts 2 more exhibition games and goes and holds a clipboard for 8 weeks, and then Brock Purdy gets hurt and he's your number 2 guy, he has no reps. He's going to sit there and be rusty with no experience. And he's going to go out there and the game's going to be moving fast. So your number 2 guy on a Super Bowl ready team has 3 preseason games and he's going to be your number 2 guy. That's like calling up your top prospect in an organization and sitting him on the bench and playing him once a month and say, hey, learn how to play in the big leagues by playing once a month. Like, if there was a AAA for football, Trey Lance should go to AAA and get reps and get called back up and be a viable number 2. Now, if he wins a starting job somewhere, he could develop into a pretty decent quarterback in my mind. After one game when he was running around with a chicken with his head cut off, you play against the Raiders when you missed a whole year and just go bip down the field. That would have been weird. Well, Brock Purdy did it last year. Brock Purdy played in college. He played 4 years in college, every single snap. He had reps. He's played in a big conference when he's at Iowa State. He knew what he was doing. But for anybody to sit here and say, well, there's a competition for the numbers 2 spot with Trey Lance, and if he does this, no. You can't sit him on the bench. He's not going to get better holding a clipboard. He's not a viable backup holding a clipboard. So it has to be Darnold. It has to be. And then who knows with the other situation, the Allen, what's going on with that? I mean, does anybody out there think that Trey Lance is going to be the number 2 guy? Does anybody out there think that there's a competition for number 2? There isn't. There isn't. So what do you do? What do you do with the 49ers? What's his trade value at this point? And I saw some things on Twitter today where it was the worst draft pick ever and it was a bust. And I don't know that I would go that far right now. This kid's got, I think he's got intangibles. The game was going fast for him the other day, as it should have been. You know, imagine if we all took a year off our job and it was a brand new job and we had never done that job and we took a year off and our first day at work. It would be going fast, whatever it is. Whatever you do for a living, if you took a year off and you had never done that before and it's a brand new job and you get there the first day, it's going to move fast. And it did for him. And he had some open receivers, but there was guys in his face. He didn't look fast to me. Did he look fast to anybody? I thought I saw a little hitch in his giddy up. If I'm being honest, on a couple rolling left things where he was limping a little bit. So I don't know if you trade him. I don't know what you do with him. But I definitely know that he's not your number 2. And are you going to keep him around for number 3? I mean, if you keep 3 quarterbacks, you're just going to make him the 3rd quarterback? You put him on the practice squad? I mean, there's a time and a place where you just go like, oops. And it's not your fault. It's not his fault. He seems like a wonderful human being. I'll always root for him. But it's a lot like, well, it's not a lot like that. I was going to say a lot like Joey Bart, but Joey Bart got reps. Joey Bart got a chance. Trey Lance really hasn't had an opportunity or a chance. So we'll see what happens. This is Brock Purdy's
team.
team.
I know there's one I definitely could have thrown away and avoided a sack, or at least it felt like it on the field. But again, that's one of those things I think I really got to go back and watch the tape, and I think I'd have a better answer for you after that.
Is there anybody out there that thinks that Brock Purdy's a flash in the pan and he's going to come back to earth this year? Is there anybody panicking that he threw 3 interceptions and I couldn't care less? Is it could care less or couldn't care less? It's could. It's could care less. Couldn't care less? I always get screwed up on that. 808 KNBR if you know the answer to that. Somebody out there wants to know about, they want to know about one-on-one. The plot in one-on-one, I don't know. I have a passionate take on the quarterbacks. It's crickets. The plot on one-on-one it was a terrible movie. But it was about a high school star from a town in Colorado. He wins a scholarship to Western University in Los Angeles. He's talented, but he has a tendency to improvise. He was like a street ball kid playing in college. But he had to overcome a cultural transition, but he also had to adopt the team's win-at-all-cost philosophy with his coach, which includes a strict system fraught with corruption. Oh, yeah, I remember this now. On the academic side, Henry is assigned to Janet Hayes, a senior tutor, who initially disdains him, but eventually falls for him. Yeah, he fell for his tutor. Yeah, you fall for your tutor. The tutor seduced him, it says here.
They were just pounding that bat.
I bet you got good grades, at least. It says he took an upper for practice, and that was kind of the end of it. Henry was introduced to greenies, and then he just was shooting the ball every time, and he got hurt, and next thing you know, it's just the small-town kid that goes to the big college thing, and then all of a sudden, he has a tutor he's crushing, and next thing you know, he's back to where he started. One-on-one, check it out at theaters near you. Opened in 1977. That's how you get younger on these sports theater. You talk about movies in 1977. What do you think the Niners' record's going to be? Like, I had people saying 14-3, and I don't think that's far-fetched. I know there's a lot that can go on during the year. We saw it last year. I think we always focus on the quarterbacks. Remember how banged up the defense was? There was guys hurt every week. They were a mash unit for a while, and they still find a way to win games. They've started out slow every year under Kyle. It would be cool if they were 4-0 this year or 3-0 and got out of the gate. Here we go. We got some Niner calls coming. We just had to stick a stick in the Hornets. Let's go to Sean in Monterey. Sean, do you think Brock Purdy's? Do you think if there's any competition here and Brock Purdy's a flash in the pan, you got to keep Trey Lance around?
No, I'm just saying that I think Brock Purdy's the guy, but however, maybe Trey Lance and Brock Purdy's a washout because you're getting Brock Purdy, last pick of the draft, and then Trey, maybe you could forgive an early round pick because you're getting a guy with something that you're really not expecting to get much out of.
You got your guy, Sean. I said this last year. You got your guy. Who cares what round he's in?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Trey, if we could get something for him, otherwise, like you said, I don't see why we'd be holding him for just holding a clipboard and hoping for a chance. However, we get a lot of guys hurt too. So, insurance policy, but is it worth the cost? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see him getting better without getting reps, and he's missed so much time that preseason reps are just like throwing a rock in the ocean. Like, he needs to play, and if he's not going to play and he's going to sit next to Kyle, and then all of a sudden something happens to Brock and he goes and plays, now it's going to be a developmental process on a team that's Super Bowl ready. That I don't know that practice can replicate Sunday in front of 50,000 fans on national TV or a Monday Night Football or a Thursday night in Seattle, whatever the schedule is this year. And all of a sudden he comes off the sidelines and you expect him to go bip, bip, just like fans expected him to do that this week against the Raiders. Bip, 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 like I missed no time. Boop, boop. It's just not that easy. It's not a video game. I think a lot of times we think we have this video game mentality where we don't take into account that these are human beings, and the game moves fast if you haven't been playing it. The game moves fast at the highest level, and guys are throwing 100, and guys are 6'5", 400 pounds coming at you with the 4.3 40 to rip your head off every single play. And if you miss time, those guys are bigger and they're faster, and it's like, And I thought he did exactly what he should have done Sunday. I watched the game. I didn't expect much from him because it's just not like flipping a switch. It's not a video game.
Yeah, I think it's a lot easier to say goodbye with a lotto pick with Purdy. That's all I think.
Yeah, and my whole thing, Sean, is I just wanted to make sure Brock was healthy, and by all accounts, they took all the restrictions off. He got a ton of reps today. He was like 18 for 19 or something. Like, I don't care about numbers in camp. I couldn't care less, as I'm seeing on the text line. Thanks, you guys, for locking me in. It's couldn't care less. I don't care about stats. I don't care if Brock Purdy throws 74 interceptions in training camp.
Yeah, you said he did it in the big time. He did it in the spots we need to see it, and he's proved big game situations, and I'd love to see more this year.
Sean, do you think this? There was a great text on the text line the other night. Hold on a second. I'm supposed to call it something. but I don't have any copy. Let me. There was a great text on the text line the other night, and it was talking about how I think we're wired as Niner fans to look for controversy. It's a Golden State Lumber and Building Materials text line. Oh, it's right there. The big sign right there in front of me. Yeah, the Golden State Lumber and Materials, Building Materials text line. Somebody on that last night said we're wired because of all starting with Joe and Steve, we're wired to look for quarterback controversy when sometimes there's not even one there, and I don't think there is one there right now.
I don't think so either, but we'd love to give you something to talk about. We don't want to have an easy talk here, right?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about one-on-one all night in a film from 1977. I'd rather talk football with you guys. Sean, thanks for the call, dude. I appreciate it.
All right. Love you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for calling. Let's go to Rob in San Francisco. Rob, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Okay, we got sports movies for 100 on the Jeopardy category, FP.
What do you got for me, Rob?
Basketball movies, because you were talking about them. What's your call? White Men Can't Jump versus Hustle. Give me a pick.
Hustle?
You like Hustle?
I like Hustle a lot.
Movies. All right, I like it too. Baseball movies, The Natural versus Bull Durham.
Oh, man, that's a tough one.
Tough one.
I'm going to go with The Natural just because, I don't know, it's The Natural. It's Wonder Boy. It's Roy Hobbs. It's a great story. It was a wonderful storyline, but, Bill Durham's really accurate. I mean, I had lived that life for 7 years. There's an Annie Savoy in every town.
Sure. So, speaking of that, you were a long time in the minors. What was your closest point to quitting?
It's a really good question, Rob. I never thought of that. I don't know that I ever really entertained that thought. There was a couple times when my wife at the time, my ex-wife right now, kind of talked me into staying with it. My parents did too, where it was my 4th year in AAA, and I was doing everything I could do, and I wasn't getting anywhere, and it was hard to get in the car every day and go to the ballpark, and I was making $10,000 a year, but I still had a uniform. I still had a dream. I still believed in myself. But then you start to doubt whether the organization itself believes in you, and you're just an organizational player. And I went A-ball, AA, AAA, like bip, bip, bip. And then my first year in AAA, I was the MVP of the team. And I'm like, okay, I'm 24 years old. I'm in AAA. I got this. They gave me a diamond ring. I was at AAA in Indianapolis, Indiana. And then 3 more years, and I was 28 years old, just like that, still in AAA. So there was time. I never doubted my ability or doubted I could play in the big leagues. I had total confidence in that. I just started wondering if they saw anything in me and if I needed a change of scenery. And that's how I got to the big leagues. I went and talked to my minor league director one day, and I said, hey, I deserve a shot. I've done everything at this level. My manager says I could be a great guy off the bench in the big leagues, a double switch guy in the National League, and you need to give me a chance. And once I said that, they gave me a chance.
Hey, great. So what was it like coming up in Montreal? I mean, the Expos fans were kind of famous back in the day.
It was awesome. It's a beautiful city, a wonderful city with wonderful people and a tremendous fan base that just got disgruntled after a while because they lost their best players every year, almost like what Oakland's going through right now. And in a bad stadium. New York. It was an indoor stadium.
New York.
Yeah.
I remember. We would go there once in a while. I mean, people where I grew up were Yankees fans, even though I was a Red Sox fan, and people would go up to Montreal, but it was always the same complaint that the stadium was just an unbelievable wreck,
It wasn't so much it was a wreck, it was indoors, and in Canada, in that part of the area of Canada, like you get 3 months of summer, and they didn't want to spend summer indoors. Like it's a beautiful 80-degree day out, and you got like 2.5 months of summer, and you're going to go spend a day indoors. So that and losing your players every year, I always think if they had an outdoor stadium that seated like 32,000 people in downtown Montreal, that it would have flourished. It would have been cold as hell in April, maybe even early May. But man, there's some really – the fans there knew what place you were in. They knew your batting average. They knew everything about you. You won 6 of your last 8. You've lost 6 of your last 8. They just got really pissed that like Wetland and Facero and Ken Hill and Moises Alou and Marquise Grissom and Larry Walker, and you just keep going, Pedro Martinez and – Mark Grudgelana, you just go down the list of players they lost every year. It was like the farm system for the rest of the big leagues, and they got disgruntled. And that was it. And then the team moved, and they moved to D.C., and the rest is history. So I see a lot of similarities in Oakland and Montreal when I was up north there in Canada.
I can see that. They had the concrete and carpet, right? They had a real tough surface.
Yeah, there was concrete and then like an inch of AstroTurf that if you lift it up, that's why I limp around right now. I basically played on a parking lot for 4 years with cleats because the turf was so matted down that if you wore tennis shoes, you slip. So I had to wear cleats.
Yeah, I remember weird hits, the sort of 40-foot high choppers in the infield kind of hits in that stadium.
All right,
One more
Rob. Well,
question.
thanks for the call, buddy. I appreciate it, man. Really good stuff. Thanks for calling the show tonight. On the other side, I want to play this. Did you hear what happened with Mookie Betts? It's a really good story. I know it's the Dodgers, but if you're ever going to like a Dodger, it's this guy. So it's a cool story about Mookie Betts coming up next on the Sports Leader.
Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo continues live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix progressive jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Thompson at third, Gallo at second, Taylor at first. One strike offering. Swinging, there's a high fly ball. The center fielder, Brinson over to his right. He's under it, and he's got it. The inning is over, so the Dodgers had him loaded with nobody out, and Cobb got through it with nobody scoring. 3 men left. To the third inning. Wins coming up. Giants nothing. Dodgers nothing.
Yeah, Mookie, take that. A little pop-up with the bases loaded. I like Mookie Betts. Is that blasphemy on the Giants' flagship station to say that? I like everything about him. He's the Steph Curry of baseball. Everything he does is just cool looking. He's the best athlete in baseball, and I think he's the best player in baseball. Him and Ronald Acuna Jr. Flip a coin. So on August 2nd at Dodger Stadium against the A's, he hit his 29th home run of the season. And there's kind of a cool backstory here about when he was on deck. And Mookie Betts, I caught this sound today, was on ESPN on their Twitter. And so Jacob did a nice job of recording it here, and we're going to play it for you. Mookie Betts with a real cool story about what happened to him before he hit his 29th home run.
What's going on, guys? I just, something pretty neat happened, and I wanted to share the story. So back a couple weeks ago, I was on deck, and this guy started talking to me, and he said, Mookie, if you hit a home run, I'll name my daughter her middle name Mookie. And I heard this and I laughed, and he said he was serious. And so I turned around and told him, "Nah, don't do that, bro. Don't do that." And he said, "No, I'm gonna do it." And said, "Your wife wouldn't like that, bro. Don't do that." He said, "No, I'm gonna tell her." So I think he may have been on the phone with her. So then that at bat is when I hit, I think, the furthest home run I've hit in my career. And so I circle the bases, come back, and give him a fist bump. There's a little video of it. I thought it was super cool. And then, like a couple weeks later, I see on Twitter the birth certificate for Francesca Mookie Mancuso. Shout out to you, Giuseppe. I can't wait to meet Francesca. And that's going to be my girl. So I thought that was pretty neat. Y'all go follow Little Ragu 54. Again, shout out to you, Giuseppe.
Francesca Mookie. What was the last name? Oh, my God. And Mancuso. Yeah, Francesca Mookie Mancuso. The story goes on that Mookie got caught gambling with the mafia after that. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's a really cool thing. He hit the home run as a bomb, by the way. The radio is kind of hard to tell you the story, but he launched a bomb to left center field, and he was running past the on-deck circle, and he forgot to give that guy Nux, and he went back, and they gave him Nux, and he was in the first row. And that's a really cool story. Mookie's a cool name, by the way. Mookie's a really cool name. And I think it'd be a cool name for a girl or a boy. It's just one of those names. It's just cool. And a cool story. Like, if you were going to... Is there anybody out there that's named their kids after a player? I know people name their dogs like Kipe and Kruk all the time or whatever, and I hear that all the time. But, like, have you ever named your kids after a player? I did. My daughter's name is Summer Joe, and it's after Joe Montana and Joe DiMaggio, and my grandfather Joe. So we killed 3 birds with one stone. And Joe Montana never threw a touchdown pass for me. Joe DiMaggio never hit a home run for me because I never saw him play. He was just Italian-American that was good at baseball, and I've always admired. And he's a San Francisco guy. NoCal guy. Yeah, I guess I named my son after a baseball player. Not a very good one, but I named him after a baseball player. But yeah, I thought that was cool to see that story. I don't know about you guys, but I love, it's the entertainment. It's back to the initial theme of the show. It's entertainment. It's the entertainment industry. I love when players interact with fans. I love when players, the screen now, remember when Don Mattingly stole the popcorn for that little kid on a foul ball? That could never happen now with the netting there. But, like, I love when players interact with fans. I love all these stories when outfielders are playing catch between innings with a kid with a glove to get loose. Because you really don't. It's just a way to kill time and not stand there and look stupid between innings. You really don't need to throw to stay loose in the outfield. It's just something to do. So when I see any interaction with fans and players, and I wish I could go back in time and do more of that, because I was always so blinders on. I wasn't good enough to sit there and interact with fans and be jovial and go over and be like, "Hey, how are you?" And I was out to, like, murder people every game. Like, that was my thing. I had to play like that. So you get the fighting hydrant nickname. But looking back, I wish I would have smelled the roses a little bit more and enjoy the fans. When I was a Giant, I kept my head down because it was this guy and this guy from high school, from junior high school, from this and that, everywhere at every game. It was cool. The support was amazing. But then when you're focused on playing, I didn't acquiesce everybody as much as I should have. And they're probably like, "Boy, he changed. He sure is a D now. Like, what's happened to him? Oh, he's a big leaguer." But, like, I wasn't good enough to go over and just shoot the S with you and then go get 3 hits. I had to be super focused. And I had to get that football mentality that I was going to, like, run you over every day, or else I would have been back in the minors. But, like, looking back at it, like, I wish I would have enjoyed the ride a little bit more with the fans. And I think it's really cool when guys interact with fans like that. I think it's cool. I think baseball needs more of that. Baseball players getting mic'd up, accessibility to baseball players, marketability with baseball players. There's so many great personalities. I say this all the time on the corner of 3rd and King that you guys don't even know. Gabe, for instance, like I said earlier in the show, like, he's fun to be around. He's a good dude. It's just like he doesn't present that to the media because it's this polished, like, well thought out, well-articulated answer to everything. And it'd be cool to hear him just go, I don't know. Like, why didn't you pitch it for Meckler? I don't know. This is a hunch. Just felt like going for it. Kid's got good bat-to-ball skills. Maybe it was a wrong decision. I don't know. But I just felt like that was my best chance right there, and I went with it. And then, you know what I mean? Just like, and tonight was like more of the human element. Back to it's an entertainment industry. That's entertainment. All right, gonna take a quick break right now. 808 KNBR is the number. We'll talk a little more Giants baseball. Recap what happened tonight. It was a good win tonight, 7-0. Last time Tampa was shut out was 6-17, June 17th. I don't know if it was a turning point win. Do you guys feel like that? It could be. I think that's why tomorrow's so big. Like, if you do that, you drop a 7 spot in a shutout, you come back and they win 7-0 tomorrow, then it's just like we're right back to where square one. But tonight felt like a different kind of win. That was a baseball game for the Giants. That was a win-win. That was a thrashing. What did the guy with the Australian dude say? That was I forget what he said. But the dude that called from Australia had a really good saying for it. Yeah, it was a thrashing. It was a 6-0 thrashing when he saw it last. But they hit, they played defense, and they pitched the hell out of it tonight. And the defense and pitch the hell out of it, to me, are more important. But it was nice to see some balls fly out of the campsite. It was nice to see Tyro go deep. It was nice to see Wilmer go deep. Those guys sit next to each other on the plane. So those the home run guys. They sit next to each other on every flight. They're like best buddies, the two best friends on the team. And it was good to see them both hit home runs tonight. It was nice to see Wade Meckler get his first big league hit. So we'll talk some Giants baseball on the other side. You listen to FP Santangelo. This is KNBR Tonight on The Sports Leader.
What, 6-0? Wow, what a thrashing.
Shout out to you, Giuseppe.
Follow KNBR on Facebook. This is KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo on KNBR 104.5 and 680. The Sports Leader.
Now he swings and lines one into center field. Base hit. There's his first big league hit. And man, did he blister that one. 99-mile-an-hour line shot. And he gets a big ovation from the fans here, who all know that it's his first big league hit.
Manager Gabe Kapler got thrown out of the game today in your at-bat. What does that do for the team when you see your manager come out defending his players and firing you guys up?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously can't speak to the rest of the guys, but, I really appreciate it. It's my second game here. There were a few questionable calls in my at-bats. And, I'm a rookie. I can't really say anything to the guy. And, Cap comes over and steps up and stands up for me. So, it's something I really appreciate as a player, especially my second game here.
I just love this song. I love REO Speedwagon. They're my favorite. Led Zeppelin is my favorite. Pearl Jam, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC. Maybe not in that order. It depends on the day. Those are my Metallica too. Back in the day. Now I'm into EDM. I don't know what's going on, midlife crisis or something. But these songs get me fired. This would be a good walk-up song. Does anybody walk up to this? I know Yaz walks up to another Led Zeppelin song, not this one. But even this part right here. Now batting. So good. All right, Giants win 7-0 tonight. They beat the Rays. 7 runs on 9 hits. Just a well-played game, a well-pitched game. There was home runs by Estrada and Flores. The seatmates on the plane, they'll be going to Atlanta tomorrow. I am doing the Braves series Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Excited about that. Excited to get back to Atlanta, see some old friends there. When you're in the National League East for a while, you get to know a lot of people in that organization. Brian Snicker and Walt Weiss, and then Ron Washington, 3 of my favorite coaches in all of baseball. One's a manager. I'm excited to go to Atlanta and check that whole thing out. And I think the Giants are going to do well there. I don't know why I have this feeling. I think it's going to be a good road trip for the Giants. You're like, wait, what? The Phillies series has turned out to be huge. When you look at the wild card right now, the Phillies are 65-55. The Giants are 64-56. They're the top 2 wild card teams. So that series in Philadelphia is going to be humongous for the wild card. And Miami lost tonight. Chicago lost tonight. And I believe Cincinnati lost tonight. So it was a good night for the wild card for the Giants. They're a game and a half up in the second wild card position over the Marlins. And when you look at the scores from around the league tonight, the Guardians beat the Reds 3-0. That was big. The Astros beat the Marlins late in that one, 6-5. Let me see who else. And the Phillies lost to the Blue Jays 2-1. So it was a good night for the Giants all the way around. The Braves threw a one-hitter against the Yankees to go to 77-42. They won 5-0 tonight. The Twins beat the Tigers. Nobody cares. The Cardinals beat the Athletics. That's a big one. Not really. Nobody cares about that one. Rangers 7. Bruce Bochy's squad beats the Angels. What's going on with the Angels? They've just packed it in. Lucas Giolito, trade deadline, not doing well for the Halos. The Cubs lost. That's big for the Giants. The Cubs are right behind the Marlins. They're a game out of the wild card. And it's time to look at the wild card. When you look at the standings, I mean, it's not impossible to catch the Dodgers. The Giants are 9 back of the Dodgers. They're 72-46, and they're starting to do Dodger things. Jacob is saying it's impossible. 42 games left. Don't forget, 42 games left. So they've played 120 games. There's only 42 left in the season. That's going to fly by. Are you ready for football season? Are you ready to turn the page? I talked to my dad today. He's ready for football season. Michigan's ranked number 2 preseason, and we're all maize and blue in my house. They're all ready. Are you ready for football season? Everyone's got their fists in the air on the other side of the glass. I don't know. I love baseball, but I do love my college football. So we'll see what happens with. I don't know who's in what conference anymore. I really don't care. I'm just going to turn on the games hungover on Saturday and watch as much as I can. So the Giants won tonight. It was a good win for them. There was all kinds of cool stuff going on. We talk about a 3-hit shutout against one of the best teams in baseball. The last time Tampa was shut out was June 17th. And the stat I think that's really cool is the Giants haven't won back-to-back games since July 29th and 30th against the Red Sox. Remember, way back in July? I mean, we're halfway through August. So tomorrow's big. It'll be the first time they won back-to-back games since the end of August. If you want to get in the playoffs, you got to start stringing some wins together. I started the show tonight with I hate the opener, I like the opener, I hate the opener, I like the opener, I hate the opener, I like the opener, I hate the opener, I like the opener. And that's kind of what I'm going through, and I'm sure Giants fans are feeling that. It's like one night, one guy, it was Tristan Beck last night that gave up the 5 runs, and he's been doing so well, so it's hard to get on him. But like if one guy has an off night, you have no chance to win. And then tonight you throw a 3-hit shutout. And Jacob Junis was great, but to me, Sean Manaea is becoming a story. There's a lot of criticism about the offseason signings, and this guy's attitude to me has been just wonderful. Like there's 2 ways to go about it, even in any workplace, if you don't like your role. You can bitch and complain and whine about it, and you could be a cancer at the workplace. You could be somebody that nobody wants to be around, or you can embrace your role and say, well, if this is what I'm going to do and this is how they want me to do it, then I'm going to do it with a smile on my face, because guess what? Bitching and moaning and complaining doesn't get anything done. It just makes things worse, as a matter of fact. So I don't know what Sean Manaea has done. I don't know behind the scenes. I do know that when I'm at the ballpark and on the plane and on the bus with him, especially, he's always got a smile on his face. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to bitch and moan. And guess who's having the most success out of all the guys that are supposed to be starters that aren't? It's him. Because it seems to me, and this is all pure speculation, and you guys can probably see it too, that he's like, oh, you want to use me as a closer? I got you. Oh, you want to use me as the feature guy? I got you. Oh, you want to use me as a 7th inning matchup guy against 3 lefties? I got you. And while maybe he had trouble wrapping his mind around it, these are all millionaire athletes. No matter what you say, they all have egos. They all want to perform. If you have a 7 ERA, your next outing is going to be a shutout. If you're hitting 200, your next day is going to be 3 for 4. You don't get to the highest level by just going, oh, I suck. So there's a lot of egos involved here. And the tricky part for a manager, for a president of baseball operations, is put together 26 guys that can check their egos at the door. That nobody cares who gets the credit. Nobody cares how they're used. That might be fantasy land and unicorns and rainbows and everybody farting Skittles. I just don't, that doesn't happen. When it really gets bad is when your core players aren't buying in. When it really gets bad is when you have 4 or 5 guys that are your core guys in a clubhouse and they're not buying in. Then it can get weird. It can get squirrely because guys will start taking their lead. That's when you start running into trouble as an organization, as a team. But I think it's time to give Sean Manaea a lot of credit because all of a sudden he looks free and easy. All of a sudden he's not fighting it like he was early in the year. He's fighting it. I don't know. I can't speak for every player. It's all I can do is speak for myself. When I was happy, I played well. When I was joking off the field, I played well. When things were going well at home and everybody was happy and I was loose in the clubhouse and screwing around with guys, I played well. When I was struggling and it was grouchy in the clubhouse, I didn't play well. When I wasn't happy with my role, I didn't play well. So I think there's a lot to be said about having fun and playing a kid's game. Sometimes it gets away from you. Sometimes it becomes I'm carrying my briefcase to a 9 to 5. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And you start to get a little corporate in your attitude toward the game that you grew up playing as a kid. A game that you love more than anything. Sometimes you're in an environment where everybody around you is super corporate, and that was how it was with the Dodgers. When I was with the Dodgers, it was 25 guys and 25 cabs. When I was with the Giants, day off, it was families together, everybody partying, everybody having a good time. 18 players with the wives and the kids, and we'd all meet at somebody's house and have a barbecue. It was super family-oriented. It was a great environment. Then I go to L.A. the next year, which is my fault. But they offered me the most money, and it was the first time and only time I've ever made a decision based on money. It was the wrong one. And you go down there, and it wasn't like that because L.A. is so spread out. It's Manhattan Beach. It's Sean Green lived in Newport Beach. I don't know how the hell you drive from Newport Beach to Dodger Stadium every day, but he did. And some guys lived in, I don't know, Marina Del Rey and Santa Monica and Manhattan Beach, and I lived in Pasadena. It was just hard to all get together on off days. It wasn't because the guys were jerks. It wasn't conducive to a family environment. But if you do, back to Manaea, wrap your head around your role, in whatever your role is, in whatever job you have. and you just wrap your head around that role and you don't fight it, and you say, well, I'm just going to be the best I can at this. Because Sean and I are going around the clubhouse saying, I should be a starter. I should be a starter. This is BS. I should be a starter. That's not doing anybody any good. That's not being a good teammate. It's understandable. Like, you can't get mad at Alex Wood or Stripling or DeSclafani or whoever. I don't know this, but I'm just saying. Alex Wood's had some quotes where if you read between the lines, you could tell that he wants to be a starter. It doesn't do any good for anybody if you go around complaining about it. You have to go out there and perform. And it's really easy to say. When I was with the Dodgers, I said I should be in the NFL because it's all I do is play every Sunday. Like, I play once a week on Sunday. You sit there for 6 days, then you're not even used off the bench, then you play on Sunday. And I bitched about it. I've been there. I thought I should be playing more. I went to Davey Johnson's office. I said, I got to play more, man. Like, you guys signed me to be your center fielder. I'm coming off a year with the Giants. We had a great year, and I'm just rotting in the corner over here. He goes, talk to the GM. It's his decision. So I talked to the GM. The GM told me it was Kevin Malone. Talk to Davey. It's his decision. And that's when you knew you were in a bad place. When they're both lying to you. Somebody's lying. One of them's lying. And then I was just disgruntled. Then I didn't want to be there. So yeah, props to the guys that are wrapping their heads around it, and understandable the guys that can't. It's not for everybody. It's not like I'm going to hate somebody on the Giants or look at them sideways if they don't like their role. I get it. It's a different approach to baseball. It doesn't work for everybody. And it's Fantasyland if you think that you can have 26 guys that all love you as a manager. It's Fantasyland if you have 26 guys that all love their role as an organization. It just doesn't happen that way. You just hope that it's not the main guys. All right, going to take a quick commercial break. On the other side, we are going to play the post-game wrap again. It was a really good one. So they're always better when the team wins, but it's the best show we have on KNBR. Every show is great on KNBR. Got Murph and Mac in the morning, so if you're driving home right now, leave your car radio right where it's at so you can listen to those guys in the morning. Then we have Papa and Lund in the afternoon, Tolbert and Copes, and then myself at night. I'll put our lineup up against anybody, but I still think the best show we have is a post-game wrap. So on the other side of the break, we're going to replay tonight's post-game wrap. The Giants win 7-0. They shut out the Tampa Bay Rays.
tuned into KNBR Tonight with former Giant FP Santangelo. Listen to us here and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We are KNBR 104.5 and 680, the sports leader.
2 down. Here is Josh Lowe. The way it shows on the lineup card, J-Lo. I don't know if he's ever won any Grammy Awards. Here's a fastball away to J-Lo. 1 ball and no strikes. And Luke Jackson goes into his windup, kicks, throws. He struck him out swinging. And he comes on to end it with an exclamation point. He strikes out the side in the 9th inning. And the Giants even up this series at a game apiece. Giants 7, Rays nothing.
Giants are under a little bit of pressure right now. They got a big game tomorrow. Sleep fast, go get them. They'll sleep good tonight. They'll sleep well tonight. 7 runs on 9 hits. Michael Conforto had 3 tonight, 3 for 4. Drove in a run, scored a run. He's up to 251. Patrick Bailey had a knock and an RBI, 1 for 3, scored a run. And Tyro Estrada hit his 10th home run of the year, double digits again for Tyro. Wilmer Flores takes the team lead with his 16th homer. I saw him yesterday going into the clubhouse after batting practice, and a coach was carrying him. Like he had his arm around the coach, and it was almost like he was a boxer that just got knocked out, and he barely made it in the clubhouse. And then he played today. They said it was an inner ear infection, so I'm glad he was back today, but whatever happened yesterday, he was not in good shape. But he's a baseball player. He's a tough guy. He wants to get out there. Wilmer Flores may be the manager of the San Francisco Giants someday. Wilmer Flores, if he decides to manage in baseball, will win a World Series. Because he's just got that demeanor, right, where nothing phases him. And he knows baseball. He knows what it's like to be a professional. He's old school enough, but he's got the new school analytic background now with he's played in this era. I would play for Wilmer Flores tomorrow. I don't know if he'll be a manager of the Giants, but he'll be a manager somewhere, somehow, when he's done playing. And I mean early, too. This is going to be one of those guys that goes to A-ball for 4 years and then AA for 4 years and AAA for 2 years. Wilmer Flores, he's going to be a big league manager. If he wants to be. Who knows? He would be a good one, in my opinion. A good one, in my opinion, was the post-game wrap tonight. So after the game, I don't know if you guys know this, there's this show called the post-game wrap. And whenever it has the 4 bet, I'll be doing it on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Good pick. It was cool the other day to do it with Mike and Dwayne and Flem in Oakland. That was really cool. I was in the middle of it going, one of these guys does not like the other. I don't belong here. I'm just going to be real quick so they can talk, and it's their post-game wrap, and I'm a visitor at your house. I was sitting at the kids' table for the post-game wrap the other day. It was cool. But here's tonight's post-game wrap after the Giants win 7-0.
Okay, post-game wrap here from San Francisco. What a difference a night makes. That was a cool turnaround.
City Connect jerseys.
There's something about them in there.
1 hit through 5.
Yeah, okay, maybe not early therapy, but late.
But lots of hard-hit balls tonight.
There were
in those 5
more.
shutout innings.
You're right.
And they kept finding gloves, which can add to the frustration. But the bullpen shut them out. 3 hit them. This is a team that had 18 hits last night, and all the Giants did in the bullpen tonight is strike out 15 and walk 3. Gave it 3 knocks. That's impressive, and that takes pressure off your offense. And they finally bust through in the 6th inning, and then they just kept adding on. It just felt so good.
We've said it so many times this year, but the group of Junis and Minaya and Beck and Wynn and these guys who have contributed in these kind of games, 3-4 innings at a time of just great pitching. It's in a lot of ways it's made the Giants season. It's allowed them to be in a playoff position. Yeah. It's really impressive.
They could pick 4 of those guys and have them be the Willie Mack Award winners and not apologize for it.
You know what? They really could.
I mean, that's how significant the bulk inning eaters have been this year.
Yeah.
I like Gabe Kapler. He doesn't like the sound of the bulk inning guy. He calls him the premier pitcher.
Featured, I thought.
Oh, the featured. Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
The featured pitcher. Although premier, I kind of like that one too. Maybe I'll offer that one.
You could go with that one.
the featured pitcher. Yeah.
And I do believe he was looking for a reason to get kicked out tonight.
Seems like it. He might have had good reason. I mean, some of those pitches were probably not strikes, but
look, only he knows if he got kicked out to light a fire. But he did have reason to bitch a little bit because Meckler was taking it on the chin.
Yeah. Why are you picking on me?
I know. I mean, the carryover from last night.
Yeah.
He kind of got squeezed. But that's all right. Hey, he got himself a big league batting average. Got a couple knocks tonight. And, gosh, it feels good.
Looser.
Feels better.
Yeah. Leaner, just better.
I was a little concerned about this club last night leaving the yard.
Yeah, everybody was.
So Dave had Wilmer on the radio interview after and asked him about Meckler, and he said, it's so impressive watching him in the cage underneath before the game, how hard he's working and all the things he works on with his hitting down there, and which he kind of had this legend that followed him from college with the kind of work that he put in, and and then Wilmer saw it for himself. He said he was pretty impressed.
You don't hear, I mean, Wilmer's a great teammate, but Wilmer doesn't just whip out compliments all the time, so kind of stood out.
I had a call with in a chat today with Pat Burrell, and he wanted to talk about Meckler. And that's the one thing he said. He goes, this kid will get his work in every day. And if he has to wait 2 hours for his turn, he will wait there for 2 hours. But when he gets in there, he has a routine. He starts it and he finishes it, and it's not an easy routine. Very disciplined. I mean, he had nothing but praise to sing for this kid, and we saw it tonight. A nice clean at bat, right back up the middle.
Yeah.
And then we also found out that he can run a little bit.
I know Gabe Kapler told us yesterday before the game the kid can fly, and he doesn't say that word very often. I thought, really, Wade Meckler can fly? I didn't know that about him. He's pretty fast.
And he did. I mean, he had a big backswing, too. He had to get unwound to get going. So, anyway, it was a great night for the Meckler family. Although it was pretty funny. His mom had to leave. She couldn't watch.
Could not watch.
So he gets a knock.
So then what do you do?
Well, she comes back and sits in. Then as soon as he's coming up, she leaves again. And he gets a knock. So he's going to get 3,000 hits, and she ain't going to see any of them.
It's going to be tough over a 15-year career. I love it.
God bless mothers.
He might be a player of the game pick. We'll find out right after this. Okay, post-game wrap and our post-game wrap picks are sponsored by Chef's Toys, California's #1 choice for food service equipment and supplies. Visit chefstoys.com. Kipe, it might be your turn to go first tonight.
I like power by a second baseman. I'm going to take Thairo Estrada.
Cool swing.
Cool swing. Got him on the board. All right, now let's add on. And they did, so Estrada.
Really good pick.
Double digits, home runs.
Pick.
Okay, I'm going to take, you could take any of the pitchers. I'm taking Sean Manaea. I just continue to be impressed by him and his willingness to do whatever they ask. And he's been a great teammate. He's never complained about it, and he's pitching better and better. He's thrived in this role. Like, he's turned his whole year around by doing what they've asked him to do. So he's just an awesome guy to be around, and Sean Manaea is my guy. Pitched great tonight.
He is.
Good one. Good pick.
Yeah. Well, there's several guys you could go with. I kind of want to go with Jock Peterson for that slide.
Yeah.
Greatest slide in the history of baseball.
You don't see one of those very often. Usually the guy comes in and his foot is up in the air. That means he got out when he should have been safe because he hadn't touched the plate yet. This time it was the perfect thing to do. And he immediately made the call himself. He knew that he was safe.
And the reaction in his facial expression to Chad Whitson, the plate umpire, he
pointed at him.
Yeah. And the umpire got the call right.
He did get it right.
Not an easy call to get right.
We watched the replay, and you could tell Whitson, there was no blockage of his view. I mean, he leaned right into the call. He leaned right into the call like I just did on my mic. But he got it right. It was perfect.
Are you taking Jock?
So I'm not taking Jock. I just wanted to mention that. But I'm going to go with Conforto because his third. And it completely fooled Rosarena in left field. But he's been hitting the ball hard, and tonight he had a couple of hits already and hadn't hit the ball hard. Just had little flares out there. That ball he hit hard, and Jock helped him get the RBI. So I'm going with Michael Conforto 3-hit game.
Good pick.
That's a really good pick. Stay hot, Michael Conforto. Yeah. He is on fire. Okay, well, I'm going to take a bunch of picks because I can. I'm the last guy. Junis, Tyler Rogers, Luke Jackson.
Yes.
Along with your pick, Manaea, 3-hit shutout with 15 strikeouts from those guys. That's a great night, especially when your offense is struggling. But I'm taking the kid. Wade Meckler now has a big league batting average, and we're going to see what he can do. I mean, the pressure's off now, and you get that one out of the way, and now all of a sudden you're going to come here thinking you're going to get hits. And with an asterisk, thank you, Gabe Kapler. I think he lit a fuse with this bunch. And he should get a little acknowledgement because it was a good argument.
Wilmer said that. He was happy that Gabe did that. He thought that helped.
What he basically did is he forced the home plate umpire to, if that's a strike, then it better be a strike for our guy too.
Yeah.
And that's important. So, yeah, good for Gabe.
A lot of good picks there, Mike.
I feel good.
About 6 of them. That was good.
Well, there were a lot of guys left on the board, and you got to hit the grand slam.
It was that, or we were going to take another lap, and this was going to last another 30 minutes.
Better. Oh,
and DC's already fallen asleep at the control board.
Plus, I got a hot meal on the Via. Come on.
No kidding. Yeah.
We can't do that anyway. It's because of the pitch clock. Yeah. That'd be a pitch clock violation if we went around.
We got a wrap clock, absolutely.
We need a wrap clock. What's on deck? Sponsored by your California Ford dealers. All right, day baseball tomorrow. Going to be a beautiful day, and the Giants will have a chance to get a series win before heading out on a really tough road trip. And look, if you can back up what the offense did late tonight with a productive game tomorrow, that would do wonders for this team going to 2 places where they know they're going to have to score some runs.
Well, you think back on Sunday's victory, they won that game, comeback style, very emotional. They didn't hit. They got a win. They didn't hit. They hit tonight. Those balls were finding holes. And they're going to sleep good, and they're going to come back here tomorrow, and they're going to expect to do the same thing. That's how it works. This offense got the stink out of the freaking dugout, and they're ready to rip now. They did.
Is it getaway day tomorrow, too?
Getaway day tomorrow. We're leaving after the game.
It's a better flight, that's for sure.
A lot better flight. DC and I got to get all packed up tonight.
All right. So it's decided then. The wrap is decided.
Yeah.
Man law. It's been decided.
What's on deck? Sponsored by your California Ford dealers and the legendary Ford F-150. Visit buyfordnow.com to find yours. Okay, we'll have the highlights, and there are a lot of them tonight right after this.
So good stuff from the boys right there, the post-game. They make me laugh. A wrap clock. They don't need a wrap clock. I like when they can go longer, but here's the thing. They get there early. They do all their prep work. That's a lot to ask from those guys every night to stay there for an extra 15, 20, 30 minutes after the game. I don't think there's any other team in the big leagues that does a combination of the TV guys and the radio guys get together. And I will venture to say, and this could be a bold statement, that I don't know that there's any other team in the country that has a radio team and a TV side that get along like these guys do. Usually it's the radio guys, or in my experiences, and I did this for a decade, the radio guys are the radio guys, the TV guys are the TV guys. There's some sort of weird difference between the two, and we're wearing suits on TV, and yeah, it's just... Yeah, sometimes there's a weird dynamic between the two, and that's not the case here. It's cool to see those guys get along. On the other side of the break, I'm going to tell you why Gabe Kapler's ejection was so big tonight. So we're going to break down Gabe Kapler's ejection. We'll play the sound for it, and I'm going to explain to you why that was a big deal, not just for us as an entertainment factor, but for the guys in the dugout in the clubhouse. That coming up next on the Sports Leader.
Download the all-new KNBR app. Now, KNBR Tonight with FP Santangelo continues live from the KNBR Casino Matrix Studio. Casino Matrix Progressive Jackpots are here. Where are you? Just drop in. Please play responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wade Meckler looking for his first big league hit, second game. And he takes a pitch called a strike. Wade, I think he believes that every pitch he's taken has been a ball. And now, did somebody just get kicked out? Might be Gabe Kapler. Chad Whitson, I think he just kicked him out. And Gabe's coming out now. He's very unhappy. I think he feels like, and Gabe's holding up 3 fingers, and I think that's exactly what Gabe's saying. 3 pitches that haven't been strikes. And I am sure that Gabe's right in Chad Whitson's face. And he's telling him, you know I'm right. And I guarantee you that the Giants looked at the iPad and saw that those 2 calls were not correct ones. Giants fans are happy with Gabe showing some feistiness. But he just got kicked out of the game. That doesn't happen very often.
So Trevor Plouffe, former Major League pitcher, tweeted, Gabe Kapler's the only manager in the show that pulls this outfit off. Hottest in the game, and there isn't a close second. The tweet blew up. He got 1,033 likes. Gabe had the White City Connect hoodie on, and he cut the sleeves off, and they had the orange Under Armour tight sleeves underneath it. Trevor Plouffe's funny. That's a good tweet. That's good stuff. So, Gabe Kapler, after the game, we caught up with him with our KNBR mics in the Giants clubhouse, started to explain why he got ejected and kind of what his beef was with the umpires.
No, obviously no plan there. It's just, I actually read an article about Meckler early in the day, and it was really about his rise to this moment and what he had to deal with just in high school, Oregon State, trying to get into the Ivy League schools and not having success there. And he's just had to grind and fight every step of the way. So just obviously, I didn't think those were strikes in his first at bat. Wade didn't think they were strikes. And it was obviously just irritated and reacted, but really reacted on behalf of Mac, who deserves to be stood up for by all of us, all of the players and staff. So, but I'm just happy he got his first big league knock, and then a second. I think there's going to be many more to come.
Just the energy and the enthusiasm for 27 outs. Your vantage point in here, I don't know if you were in here watching or out there, but how pleased were you to see all that adding on and finding different ways to score?
I don't remember if this is my first time watching a game in the cage or like right behind the steps. We got obviously the cage feed up and running. It's really interesting, obviously, to see the location of the pitches and how effective our pitchers were through the game. Obviously, Junis had a great game, and I had a great game. Luke was electric, and you really do get a much different vantage point. And then going back to our pregame conversations, there was a lot about quality of contact. I think Evan brought it up that BABIP isn't just necessarily low because you get bad luck, and sometimes you're just not striking the ball as hard as you can. And I think tonight we swung the bat much better, and we had some good fortune, and so I think that's why we had some crooked numbers and a really good victory.
Yeah, and I think they had put 28 balls in play tonight, and 15 were 99 miles an hour or higher on exit velocity. Really good stuff from Gabe. I think Giants fans are going to like this Meckler kid. And when you talk about like his story, if you read Alex Pavlovic's NBC Sports Bay Area's article about it, he really gets in depth about what he went through to get to the big leagues, what he went through when he was at Oregon State University. He's a guy that got cut from the team during COVID. And did he sit around and mope? No. Obviously the baseball season was over, but he got cut from the team. And so he went and lifted weights, and they made makeshift weight rooms and makeshift stuff, and they worked out twice a day, and he made himself stronger. He made himself into a better player, and then all of a sudden, he's leading the team in hitting, he's leading the team in on-base percentage, and he gets drafted by the Giants in the 8th round. And then he just storms through the system. And that's how you do it. If you want to get to the big leagues, you have to show that you're better than every level you're at. You have to show that I'm better than A-ball, and then you get promoted to A-ball. I'm better than AA. How do you do that? You do something to stand out, whether it's your defense, whether it's your attitude, whether it's your hustle, whether it's the numbers you're putting up, whether it's your strike zone command and recognition of the strike zone. And then you just show that you're better than that level. And then you go to the next level and you keep doing what you did the first two levels. And you're in AAA all of a sudden, you're a step away. And to see what Wade Meckler has been through, he was the smallest kid on his team in his class, like growing up. And I can relate to that. I was the smallest kid on all my teams in all my classes. I was 5 feet tall and 88 pounds my freshman year in high school, and I was a starting quarterback on the freshman team. I was throwing interceptions because I couldn't see over the linemen. I was throwing to where I thought the players would be. I was the point guard on the basketball team. I was the shortstop on the baseball team, but I was always the smallest kid. And I know I don't want to get too preachy, but a lot of times kids get teased now, and that's not cool. But I went through a lot as the smallest kid in every class. When I was 18, a senior in high school, I looked like I was 14. When I was 14, I looked like I was 8. And I had to put up with that. And I had to fight and scrap and claw. And when kids picked on me and called me short, I had to stand up for it. And I stand up for myself, and it made me tough. Like, there was days when my mom would come in my room and I was crying because I didn't want to go to school because it's all the kids did is make fun of me. So when you see a guy like Meckler that's had to fight and scrap and claw his whole life because he's always been the littlest kid, and then he gets to the big leagues, he's got this amazing swing. He's hit 370 or 380 at every level, and he gets his first hits tonight. And then his manager knew all of this and went and stuck up for him because he's probably been picked on his whole life. And it seemed, in a way, with Bill Miller last night and Chad Whitson tonight, the two home plate umpires, that in a sense, he was getting balls that were obviously balls on TV called strikes. He had it happen last night. He had it happen tonight. There was 3 his first at-bat, and then the 4th his next at-bat. So good for him, man, for getting a base hit. If you go on the Giants' Instagram, they're having a little celebration in the clubhouse after the game. He's got the ball in a cubicle already, and that's something. I still have my ball in a cubicle from my first hit. So it just takes you back, and I don't know, I've just always been a scrappy dude that's had to fight for everything, and I think he's the same way. So I'm really rooting for Wade Meckler. I introduced myself to him on the bench yesterday, said congratulations, talked to him for a little bit, said I used to play for the Giants. I didn't know what else to say. And I said, I was always the smallest guy too, dude, so just keep busting your ass and keep proving people wrong. That's all you can do when you're the littlest guy in the room. Let's go to Satchel from Chico. Satchel, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Hey, FT, man. This is Satch.
What's up, dude? How are you?
Oh, heck, man. I'm doing heck of great, man. I remember seeing you at this wiffle ball tourney in Sac. We were from the Chico Bamboos, but you probably don't remember that. But what I really want to talk about is this 2-man rotation that the Gyro's got going on. Hey, why not do this? Why not double it up and do an old school 4-man and get Cobb and Manaya, whatever his name is, to grow a pair and start pitching?
Well, I think Manaya and Cobb have both done a very good job this year. Cobb's an all-star. He got roughed up his last start, and Manaya's been pitching better than anybody. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing him be a starter right now. Let's go. Put him in the rotation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Get Manaya in there. I love Cobb and Webb, of course. And I want Wood to start showing me something, like, hey, he's pissed off, I'm pissed off. Why don't we do a 4-man? And then if someone wants to chime in, let's do a 5-man. I mean, I think this new school stuff is weird. I like the old stuff.
Well, change is always hard for everybody, and I go back and forth, Satchel. One day I love it, one day I don't. One day I love it, one day I don't. And I think that speaks for a lot of Giants fans out there. We're all trying to get used to it because when you win 3 World Series with the old school 5 starters, the game has changed from 2010, 12, and 14. It's a different ball game now. Satchel, thanks for the call, dude. I appreciate it.
Hey, all right, thanks.
That was Satchel from Chico. All right, time to wind down the show right now. We're getting toward the end. I just want to say thanks to everybody for helping out tonight. You guys have been great. Thanks to all the calls tonight. You guys were awesome. We got tons of calls early in the show and then kind of faded out. It's weird. When the Giants win and they have a great game, you don't get a lot of phone calls. When they lose and they have a rough one, we had full phone lines last night for a long time. But I can't thank you guys enough for being the best fans in baseball and help me out with the show. So here's my schedule, just so you know. I'm traveling with the team tomorrow, so I'll be at the ballpark. If you want to say hi to me during the game tomorrow, I'll be there. Come down, shake hands, and kiss babies, and then get on the charter with the team afterwards. Then I am heading to Atlanta for the weekend. So it's an off day Thursday. So the reason tomorrow is a big deal, it's since the end of July when the Giants have won back-to-back games. I just think a travel day into an off day into Atlanta would be tremendous momentum. So hopefully the Giants figure that out and win tomorrow and have a happy flight to Atlanta across the country. I think they're going to hit Atlanta. I don't know. That's a great place to hit. Then you go to Philadelphia after that. So the Bats woke up tonight. You heard Mike Krukow when we played the post-game wrap again saying the stench or whatever's out of the dugout now. And I think that's a good way to put it. And now you go to two hitters ballparks against two really good teams, but so what? Bring it on. If you want to win in the playoffs, these are the teams you got to beat. On the road, at home, it doesn't matter. You get to you don't play in a good hitter's ballpark. Now you get to go play in two good hitters ballparks. This is where you get well as a team. I don't care if they have good pitchers or not. It's the big leagues. It's the big leagues. Put the bat on the baseball. Make contact in these parks, and you're going to have a good series. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Ryan Walker's starting tomorrow. You got the Crossfire dude starting. I don't know who the feature guy is. You guys can figure that out. It's kind of getting, I don't know. Hopefully everybody does their jobs tomorrow and get a happy flight to Atlanta, beat the Braves, beat the Phillies. All right, I'm out of here. I'm off tomorrow. I'll be doing the show from my hotel room on Thursday. I have the Comrex box, so I'll be doing the show from the hotel room in Napa on Thursday, after the game on Friday from the booth, and I can't wait to talk to you guys again on Thursday. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to all your calls, and like I say on the way out every single night, swing hard in case you hit it on The Sports Leader.